Hello, everyone. Gonna get this a bit more situated, and then we can start actually drawing. I made this sketch earlier because I want to focus on the lines and the colors, but basically what we're doing is we're drawing Miku in one of my outfits. It's not just like an outfit I wore one time. Well, I wore the specific version of it one time, but I have this long velvet skirt that I wear a lot, and this is an outfit I built with it. Okay. I want to make sure I can fit this all on the camera. Oops. Basically, what I did with this look was, I guess it's almost whimsigoth. So this is all black here. Then I wore just like a plain white shirt with it. I had star earrings. You can't see them as well right now because it's just the sketch, but I have a lot of bobby pins that usually go in my hair, but sometimes I'm in a rush or I'm busy and or just want to style them differently. So I put them at other places on my outfit. And here I clip them onto the waist of the skirt. Those also have stars on them. I feel like if I put the camera here, then then usually you'll just see like my hand. Hold on. How does that look? Like, can you see what's going on? This first part is just going to be some cleanup, and then we'll move on to actually adding the ink. And I actually don't want the shoes to be too complicated because this is a comfy outfit. So we'll probably just make them like flats. I think when I color her hair, I'll make it black to go with the outfit. I might give her gold eyes because the earrings and the bobby pins are both gold too. Up here, I have to be pretty careful because there's lots of small details all close together. I also made her hair a bit curlier in this design because I feel like it works with the overall outfit better. Because the overall outfit is like it's comfortable, but it has detail on it. And I feel like her normal hairstyle would look a little too simple. This should be this bang. All right. I'm trying not to worry about cleaning up absolutely everything because I am also going to erase all the pencil once I add the pen. I need to adjust her ear a bit. All right. Next, we got to go over here and do a very similar thing, but her bangs aren't exactly the same shape on both sides of her head. We gotta do her eyebrow too. There's one bang. I'm gonna pull this closer to me for a minute to make sure I can see her eyelashes. I think I got the angle of her irises right. I want to make it clear that her eyes are like open wide because she has a big smile. Her hand is right here too, and I want to make sure I get that right. So let's draw the side of her face. All right, there we go. I haven't drawn this particular expression very often, like this smile and this pose, so I don't want it to look odd. Her thumb is right here. It would be easier to see once this is all lined and colored in. Okay, now we can start with the pens. I usually start with the outside because that's the part that's going to have the thickest lines. Then I'll later use the smaller pens for the tiny details like the earrings. I'm really proud of the pose I put the skirt in. I think it looks good. I usually start with like areas of smaller lines like this so that I can get them out of the way because the bigger ones, like there's more room to mess up on. I might try and draw with this in more of an upright position because that creates kind of a thicker line. It looks pretty good. So this is what I meant by super curly hair. It's meant to look more complex than her usual hairstyle. Okay, this is the outermost line, so I want this to be the thickest and strongest. And then we'll keep going down sizes colored until we've drawn over all the details. It's still a relatively big area, so I'm not getting super small lines out yet. You'll be able to see them more clearly once they've had ink put on them, but I do want to have little V and X shapes here, here, here on the earrings too, and on one of the pins. These are kind of like the edges of the skirt. It also has frills on it. Now, all these smaller details, this is when I'll start getting into the much smaller pens. Making sure all the details are in the right place. I think this part of the hand I might fill in with an even smaller pen. Just be careful. So far, we've used the point 0.8 and point 0.5 thicknesses, so I'm going to go down to point 0.4. I don't know exactly what these are called, but these little details really are on the skirt. They're like little ruffles that go onto it. I'm not sure how to draw the edges of the skirt here. Need to make sure I get her bangs in the right spot. I'm gonna fill these in with black, obviously. I want the eyelashes to be nice and strong, so I'm actually starting with a thicker pen than I normally would for them. I think this pupil doesn't look quite right. Yeah, she's meant to look like she's looking at the viewer. Yeah, I'm drawing in these eyelashes a bit more because I want you to be able to see them even through the hair. I'm gonna use an even smaller pen for the jewelry. The middle of the ruffles also have like a tiny line of stitching that I kind of want to add. Also using a small pen for the tongue. Hmm. Not sure how I feel about that. I can always cover color over this if I don't like it. Kind of want to add little decorations to the shoes. You can't see them too well from the side, but these are more star shapes. Maybe I should add a little bit of the O1 too. Speaking of coloring in, I finally have an actual black marker because I got new markers recently. They're the Ohuhu water-based markers. Because my old one, I used up in like a month because I used it so often. Oh, I forgot this. Hold on. Wanna add a little more. There. Now I'm trying not to erase this too roughly because the paper is very soft. I might have to come back and erase more later just to be super careful. The pins I have in real life are bobby pins, so they're a little bit squiggly. That's what I was trying to get across with the stems here. Okay. Okay. I'm still kind of new to these markers, so I'll see what looks good. I have tested them all though, so I have a good idea of what they look like. We're using the melon yellow. This is kind of it looks lighter on the cap, but when you actually use it, it's kind of a gold. And that's what I was going for. I'm gonna test some of the silvers for a minute. Well, maybe gray. In the real world, these kind of like like this here, that's a gem, but I don't want it to just look the same as the star, which is also a gem. Might use this purplish gray to go with the gold. Purple and yellow are complementary colors. And when I say clear, the gem isn't like just clear. It's one of those ones that reflects lots of colors and light. It's probably only glass, but it looks really pretty. You can't really see the other, like X from this angle, but it's there. It's behind her hand. A lot of this is just going to be plain black, but I do want the light to be coming over here. So I'll try and leave space for highlights. I want to make sure you can tell these are ruffles, so I might not like color them in all the way. I might leave a little space before the ink. This black reminds me a little bit of a purple. I'm going to be using this for her hair too, but for now I'm going to try and fill in the ruffles. I might have to use a thicker pen for that though, just so it doesn't take a million years. Maybe you can see these because 'cause they're, like, a different texture. I feel like I can see them. I legit love this skirt so much. I found it at a thrift store. Can't forget the shoes. Alright, now let's start working on her hair, and I'm still working out how I wanna draw highlights and shadows, so I'm gonna take this pretty slow. I'll adjust that later if I need to. These highlights, I think I'm gonna fill in maybe with, like, a light gray. I'm not sure because if you leave them just plain white, a lot of times that does look a little odd. With black, it's like, how do you shade darker than just normal black? If I had to guess, like, if I really feel the need to do it, I think I'll just add layers because that does add depth even, like, especially in marker. I am gonna leave a little outline around these ruffles to make sure that you can see them. Might shorten this up. I'm also trying to be gentle with these markers because I wanna make sure they last a long time. Let me adjust with the smaller end real quick. So to here now, gonna be careful because I'm going around her hand and arm. I really like how I drew her hand here. I think it's really cute. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit again. I like how they look all squiggly. Now, this side of the hair is farther away from the light source, so I'm gonna need to add more shading to it or just, more layers of dark marker. I might fill in her eyes with more of an ink pen than a marker because I want them to look like eye makeup. I think that looks pretty good. Drawing these lines as a kind of guide. I really like how big the hair is. It reminds me of dolls. This is shade, shade. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Okay, I think that'll work. This kind of bigger shape over here. I'm gonna draw kind of an outline around the side of her head, and that will be where I color up to so that I don't go over the ink and you can still see it. I wonder if I could use like my ink, one of my ink brushes for these shadows. I want to clearly show that they're shadows. I think this looks pretty good so far. I'm excited to see how it'll look with all the colors. I don't wanna, like, lose track of where the edges of these shades are. I do have a brush pen. Let me see how it looks. This is new to me. I don't want it to look too much like a different color either. I want it to be clear, like, it's just a darker version of the same color. I know there are some people that use brush pens for, like, everything, and I wanna know how, because I get that they work for some people. Just for me personally, they're hard to use because 'cause they're so thick and just, like, applying different amounts of pressure really changes what they do, and that's just a lot to pay attention to. Going over this with the normal marker to see how it looks. There's one last shade up here, and I might kinda add one over here. Okay. So now I'm gonna fill in her hair. Since this black also has such a kind of purpley look, I wonder if I could use a light purple for the highlights. Yeah, maybe I could use this purple gray from earlier. I think it adds to the overall celestial look. Wait, that's not quite it. Hold on. Might have to blend that a bit. I never used those before, but this set of markers did come with a little blending marker that I want to use real quick. I feel like this style of shading looks a little bit like water. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I really like it. I think it's really pretty. I think this is a shade too. I forgot about it. Hold on. I've got to fill in her other eyebrow. I can't forget the shades on her skirt either. Might fill those in with silver. I think this is another shade too. One second. I'm not going to worry so much about shading the clothes either. I like how they look more flat. This is so close to the edge that I'm not sure I want to fill it all in. I might need to add shades on the clothes just to match the highlights though. Gonna blend this a little. All right. So now I'm gonna fill in the eyelashes, and I'll be using one of these pens for it. All right, now I'm gonna test a couple more of the yellow colors that I have because I don't know what all of them look like on paper yet, and I want to make sure I pick the right one for her eyes. This one is called Acacia. I've never seen a real acacia tree. I wonder if they're really this color. This one, well, cat or however you pronounce it, I like how it's more orangey. This one, number 5, is called Marigold. It's much more orange. I am going to need a nice pale pink for the inside of her mouth too. So I'm going to test a couple real quick. I have some, but I don't know what they all look like. Ah, 103. Oh, okay. I've already tested that one. Hold on. Let me try a darker pink too for her tongue. It's fluorescent pink. Ooh, it's pretty. I wouldn't call this fluorescent. I like it. This one, number 20, it's called Dog Rose. I've seen those in the wild. I really like them. It's okay. I think those are good for the inside of her mouth. Once I've done all the rest of this, I'll color in her skin, but I already know what color I'm going to use for that. So I wanted to take my time with the rest of the colors. All right, let's use the acacia for her eyes. I might use another color to add depth though. I'm going to fill in just a bit more. Okay. I have a lot of sharpening to do of this colored pencil. So hold on a second. Okay. I'm not sure if I'll worry too much about shading the skin. I do like when things look kind of flat and the focus is more on the lines and the colors or the shapes. Might add some makeup too, not a lot, but maybe some blush. It helps her look more alive. I need a colored pencil for that though. Might save it for another time. Also, I kind of want to adjust the side of her head a bit. Okay. Gonna sharpen this one up. I'm using Prismacolor color pencils in cream and eggshell. Let me erase a little. Might erase that a little. It's gonna end up looking good. All right. Now I just need to add my signature. Should I fill in the stars on the shoes? I'm leaving them, I know they're not super visible, but I'm leaving them blank to show that they're white. Okay. Now let me adjust the angle real quick. Look, she looks so good. I'm really happy. I really like how the eyes turned out. They really look like eye makeup. Really like how the eyes turned out. They really look like eye makeup. And I really like the curly hair. I especially love the overall shape of the skirt. It's so round. I've never drawn clothes that look that round before. It looks so pretty and soft. So, I am going to end the stream here, but I will be back on Saturday making some jewelry. So, I'll see you then. And I also have lots of art for sale on my Ko-fi, which is in the description.